Excellent. All righty. Welcome, everyone. So I'm glad you guys made it. We should be expecting some more, so I'll just be popping in and out. But for now, I'm going to get started on our double bubble process. Now, you guys are all familiar with this process. Shannon may be a little bit less, although she's done a lot of this work with me. Um, the double bubble, it's funny. It's something I really like. It took me probably a year of like coaching and using it to actually really use it. I was not a big double bubbler. I heard everybody like, oh, just double bubble it, double bubble it. This was like the answer to everything. And I couldn't figure out why I was so resistant to it. And I figured it out just a couple of days ago. I figured out, when I was really compiling just what I wanted to make in my own session, I was like, I really had a hard time going to that place where I had to make a choice of something I really didn't want. So when you go into that negative space and you have to go and feel that, I was really resisting that. And that was my resistance. My resistance was the double bubble because I didn't want to go there. And I kind of thought about it, and I remembered what Chris had said, and some of the things that he had mentioned were, what if, I mean, it's just a thought, right? It's just a thought you're having. We're not imprinting this into our subconscious fields. We're just having a thought about it. And imagine if I look at my 12 and my 14-year-old girls who are nothing but hormones right now, if every thought they had came true, life would be a big schmozzle right now. It would be quite incredible. So I really realized that I had resistance to this, and I also had resistance to it because it feels tough to really in any way, shape, or form to have to really want something bad to happen, because I really it's just something that it's not in my field. I had a really, really hard time going there. But now that I've kind of embraced it, I'm really excited, and I was really looking forward to doing this with you guys today, because I've done it with some of my clients. Welcome, Heather. So nice to see you. We're just talking about the double bubble, so I know you're well versed on that. And I was talking about my resistance with it and how I realized that I really was resistant to embracing this process, doing this process. Like, in all of the sessions that I've done, I've probably done it like 5 times, where I've done 3-chair like 50. Like, I love doing 3-chair. I love doing certain perceptual shifts. And what I had done when I first started doing this was I had kind of created my own double bubble, where I had things where it was sort of Chris's old school teaching of that perceptual shift, where we had like a hand on the left and a hand on the right, and you could choose the back of the hand, the front of the hand, whatever it was. I just put the bubble in each hand. I put the negative bubble, and I put the what we want bubble in the opposite hand, and I have them basically kind of move together as we integrate those parts in those bubbles together, just to allow it to sort of physically kind of join in and bring it to ourselves to really make that choice. And I find that it really sort of imprints it, and it really helps you to just, when you put your hands on your heart again, just kind of go straight to that choice again. So if you guys are up for doing that with me, I do that along with a recode at the same time, because we tag when we kind of go into each belief and each thought, and we're going to tag it, and then we'll just coast on through a bit of a recode after. So super quick. You guys know me. I am a coach that's been around for a while, just kind of hanging out in the background, trying to really figure out what it was I wanted to do. Once I had all this information and really present it to people, and I had so many huge aspirations to try and just help everyone with everything. And it's really come down to, I love coaching with coaches, and I love working with people who are sort of motivated to help others, because that's really who I am and how I am. That's how I live. I could do this all day long for free. It was that sort of actually being a coach and accepting money and feeling worth it and all that kind of stuff. And obviously this program has worked, or I wouldn't even be here and I wouldn't even be doing this, and I would have been on video in front of anyone, never mind feeling comfortable and looking forward to it. So the fact that you guys aligned yourselves to be here, I really give you props for making this time for yourself to just jump in and play in the field with me and do this. So let's dive on in. Let's talk a little bit about this whole tension thing. You guys get this, right? The whole tension thing. With Double Bubble, obviously what we're doing is we're bringing up what we don't want. And the thing that also occurred to me is really that when we don't want something, we really keep it in our focus. And sometimes I really find myself still focusing on things I don't want, even though, I should know to keep myself in that creative reality, right? And so what are those things that sort of really kind of trigger us, right? Those things that we really don't want, that you guys might be finding that you might be focusing on a little bit. There's everything from vaccination, right? Like I was like, if you can focus on being a huge part of that, and incorporating tons of energy into that, and fighting the fight, or you can just sort of choose one way or the other. You can end up completely being on a huge side of either way, right? So it's a really extreme thing both ways. Is it being in a relationship? Is it being lonely? Is it the things that we really don't want to end up creating in our lives? Kim is here. I'm gonna just pop her in. I have to thank her because she did a great coaching session a little while ago. Hello, Miss Kim. So nice to see you.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry I'm late.
Don't worry. It's all good. We're literally just getting started.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Just getting started. So I was just saying I have to thank Kim a little bit because, of course, Kim and Sarah are awesome for just kind of being there and just getting you to just sort of go for it and do it. Hey. And I really was resistant to doing Double Bubble with a group. And so I love that I have a group of coaches to do this with, because I would love also feedback from you guys after and stuff too, just as to the things that you found with it. Just I'd love your honest opinions. It's great to be able to have that. So this is amazing. So Sarah is great going through Double Bubble because she brings it hard. Hey, like it's like, yeah, like, oh, you really don't want that, really kind of gets you into it. So I'm going to have some fun with this today. And I really hope that you guys are willing to just literally come out and play with me here. So we're just going into our true unwanted desire, Kim. We're thinking about the things that we really don't want, right? So if you guys want to write a few things down, that's great. If you want to throw them in the chat, I will take some notes too, so that when I do a recode, we kind of make sure we do touch on some of these things. And of course, I'm going to ask the super conscious to kind of tag them once we're in there and once we've got some of these up, so that they're not going to stick around. They're just going to be a fleeting thought, that thing that you really wouldn't want to happen, like it could be horrible. It could be losing someone. It could be, just ending up being alone forever. It could be never making it in your coaching business, absolutely failing. It could be completely going broke. I'm feeling that, like losing all our money, not having any clients signed up that next month, So I want you guys to, if you can, for just a minute, just kind of take a nice deep breath and just sort of close your eyes and think about this thing that you really don't want for a moment, and just let it come. If you're having a hard time thinking about it, just slow your mind down, just take a nice deep breath, and just, it might be 3 or 4 things that come up. And I urge you to just sort of bring them up, maybe write them down, see them in your head, And we're just going to be really, really clear on that, you know, really things you really don't want. And we're just going to shake that off a little bit. And if you guys would be open to sharing with me. I see that, Kim. Awesome. That is exactly what I was feeling there. Yeah, like I just felt like completely like who had nothing, you know, just like no coaching, nothing to the next month is coming. And you know, this happens to us where we actually are in situations, especially like this right now. The amount of times I've heard, no, Jackie, like, you don't get it. I'm going to lose my house. Like, if my partner left me, right? Like, I am going to lose my house. If like, this is a serious, it could really happen. And so I'm like, well, then, you know, that's the time I pulled out the double bubble, right? Because it was exactly, yeah. I love the times, right? Yes. Numbers, angel numbers. Do you guys look up angel numbers when you see times like that? If you see 1111 or 1717 or 1515, I always look up the angel number meanings, and it's just incredible what you can find there. Just Google it, right? Yes. Angel numbers. So telling. And you'll see them just kind of like pop up at certain times too, right? So yeah, so some of these unwanted desires are literally just like losing it, just not being able to have the money to do anything we want. And we're going to go a little bit into how bad that could be once we're kind of going into a bit of a meditation here. Now, I want you to really kind of think about what we're going to like totally shift things here. What if money was no object? You had absolutely all the money in the whole wide world. You could do anything. You could have a gorilla sanctuary in Africa and have 500 staff working for you and be building a school like you. I'm talking anything. Just because it makes you happy, just because you want it to, you know, just because you want it to be, it's what you've been working for, it's what you've been motivated for, it's what you know you're meant for. Yes. I love it. You guys are awesome. So yeah, right. Not getting your businesses off the ground. Like we come so far, you know, we do these courses, we get all the way committed through, we just dump money into getting our sites and getting our Zooms and our Calendlies, and we got it all set up. And then so many people at this point, this is when that tension comes off, right? That tension, all of a sudden, it's too much. So we either keep going forward or we just kind of let it pull us back. And this is the other thing too, like the tension. I watched Chris with the elastics for so long, for months, and I was like, I'm going to get this one day. I'm going to get this. And what I really got was that, you know, he's right, that tension is going to seek some kind of resolution. So you're pulling your band forward, but if you don't have that next band kind of pulling you forward a little bit more, it's going to just pull back. And so it's not even, you know, about all the tension in between. It's where's your tension? Where is it pulling you from? And what are we focused on, right? So we're going to make some really good true choices just to kind of, you know, really sort of secure this in. And I feel like if you guys, is there anything else you wanted to share as far as things that you want to touch on when we're recoding later? I think we're all kind of the same things. It's always fears, right? Like fears. We just want to be happy. I love it. Kim wants to live near the ocean, feeling grounded, peaceful, happy, grateful. This is just it, right? Like I find most of the people that I work with, one of the common things they want is literally to just be happy, to not be struggling, to literally just be happy. And there are only certain things that really make us that happy. And when we really think about it, I think we're all doing one of those things that really make us happy, right? Making other people be able to be happy, to not struggle like we did, to maybe take some of that, all that struggle that they have. And when they say something or they unpack something, you kind of go, do you want me to tell you why you're doing that? And they're like, you mean, you know, and just from listening to them in that certain way with this filter that you have now, right, can be so empowering for them. So something like that, when I thought, you know, what really makes me happy, that is what makes me happy. So then you go a little bit bigger, go a little bit bigger. So what, you know, how can you make people even happier? Of course, a chimpanzee sanctuary would make me happy too. And that maybe is, you know, like I say it so often. I usually it's a wolf sanctuary or something. I always make up a different kind of sanctuary. Today I'm feeling girly, but you know, it can be absolutely anything. And I really find like when we kind of start exploring some of those things and letting our mind work in these processes, we really get some new ideas. You know, sometimes it's even just where we're at that day or what's shifted for us. It's we're growing every single day. So every time we do one of these processes, we're just getting, you know, getting stronger, getting more empowered. It's like my chimpanzee sanctuary. You are all invited when I get it going. I could be the chimpanzee queen. We could have our own reality show. Oh, it's awesome. I love it. So what I'd like you guys to do is think about your true choice. Now we're just going to kind of dial that in. We're going to set that point. We're going to think about our true choice. And yes, Kim, you're so right. What we resist persists. Like that's, I suppose the whole thing about this, isn't it, is that when we don't want something so much, like say we don't want to be single, or we don't want to be, you know, in my husband, he doesn't want to be at his job, you know, all of these things, it owns him, right? Because he hates it every day. And he thinks if he just had all sorts of money, he would be happy because he wouldn't have to go to his job. So I have to like triple bubble him because he doesn't. He's got, you know, this triple bubble. He's got this really strong belief that money will make everything better. And it's mostly so that he doesn't have to go to his job, right? And so, but like Chris says, he's still going to be miserable if he gets up and the cat's knocked over the plant and, you know, he didn't get enough sleep. And he's like, but I'll have money, so I'll have a nice bed, so I'll sleep. And like, he's got an excuse for everything, right? But to get him into that structured reality, I'm finally going to double bubble the man because it's something that we haven't done yet because he's just so resistant. So it's quite funny. This is going to be great. All right. So we are just going to get kind of comfortable. I'm going to ask you guys basically to just close your eyes and go on a little bit of a journey with me. I'm just going to essentially be asking you some questions, asking you to go somewhere, pretty much just like a little bit of a guided meditation. So you have to do nothing over the next probably 10-15 minutes, except for just allow everything, expect nothing, notice everything. And take a nice deep breath for me. And I love when we take a nice deep breath to just literally fill our whole bellies up, fill our lungs and fill our side lungs. Like let your lungs just expand forwards and sideways when you breathe in. And when you breathe out, we're almost like blowing a balloon out your mouth, and even a few pushes, really emptying that belly. We keep a lot of stale air in there. And every time we get a trauma or a shock, we kind of, you know, take that breath and it winds up all that fascia around our stomach and our torso. And I just feel us all just like holding everything in. And I want us to make our bellies as big as they can be when we're breathing in and just expanding that whole torso. And letting that air out, emptying that whole belly. And I'm just going to ask you to imagine a nice beam of light coming on you, just like a spotlight turning on if you were on a stage. And I want you to feel that light just sprinkling almost like fairy dust or like pixie dust, just little sparkles just coming down in that light. You can see them like light, just like the dust in a sunbeam. Maybe it is a sunbeam coming down on you. And those dust particles are getting sparkly. And as they get closer to you, they're just starting to sprinkle over top of your head. And down through that crown chakra, just feeling your head opening and all of the muscles in your scalp just relaxing. Just opening our third eye, allowing all our intuition and our pineal gland to just expand. And allowing those sparkles to just kind of come down and sprinkle all through our head and through our jaw, and just relaxing your eyes and your eyebrows and your eyelids, letting them feel heavy and just letting all the muscles in your whole head relax. And down through the neck and the shoulders, down through that throat chakra. Because of a strong field. And we're going to just allow that to fill all those empty little spots, empty little places that might have been cracked or injured at one time. And this sparkly dust is just literally filling up those spaces, just moving through your torso, relaxing all the muscles. And just feeling that nice warmth, feeling that moving through your torso and your belly, through that heart chakra and that solar plexus, just opening up, expanding, filling with light, and right down into that root chakra and that sacral plexus. And we're going to allow those sparkles to keep trickling all the way down the legs, just balancing out cells, flushing toxins, just, moving gook, just cleaning and clearing. And right now, I want you guys to try and think about what it is we need to realize that we don't want, so that we don't end up having it. This is kind of weird. It's kind of scary to sort of think about the things that we're thinking about that we don't want right now, but I want you to really go deep. And I want you to think about how it would really be if what you really didn't want to happen was happening right now. I know that it isn't at all what you want, and I know it feels weird. There's a little resistance. But I just want you to embrace it. I want you to think about the fact that being broke it would suck. But think of how freeing it would be to literally every time anyone asked you if you could come to a party or go buy something, you just said, I have nothing. I just claimed bankruptcy. I have nothing. Absolutely nothing. I have $2 in my bank account. Actually, you know what? I think they closed that. I probably owed them $2. I want you to think about the fact that you're probably even maybe living in your car because you don't want to bother anybody to actually stay there. You could, maybe go shower. Maybe actually you have a friend that has a really nice bathroom that you could go and shower in. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. I want you to think about this. How bad could it get? You had actually nothing. You really didn't even have money. I want you to really go there. I want you to think about, maybe, did you let your kids down? Are you living off of them now? Or is it easier that way? I mean, damn, they that took a lot from you. Maybe it's time they supported you. Maybe it's actually okay. This is the first year you're not going to owe taxes. And you've got so much time. There's actually there's tons of time. Being bankrupt, being broke, not really having any motivations is actually very, very freeing. You have no pressures. You don't have a to-do list. Nobody expects anything from you because they always, want you to really feel how okay that could be. I want you to pool all that into this bubble. We're just going to sort of place it in there. And if you're open to it, I'd like you to even place it in your hand. Place it in one of your hands. I feel like it's the left. And I want you to just kind of look at that bubble. And I want you to think of, sort of how all that stuff looked at first, how big it felt when you really thought, I don't want it. I really don't want to be broke. I don't want to be, it's so much struggle. And I want you to take those things that we kind of thought about and how taxes are going to be easy and how you're going to have all the time in the world. How people can just take care of you. I mean, people get checks all the time. Why are you working so hard? Right? I'm going to put that in your hand. And I want you to just comfortably hold it and let it just do what it needs to do in your hand. And I'm just going to ask that in your heads, you guys are okay with me connecting with your superconscious field. And we're just going to ask the superconscious to just tag all of those things, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're just going to tag all of them that need treatment today. And we're just going to hold space with that bubble in that hand. And we're going to look over to our other hand. I want you to take a nice deep breath because we're going to leave that other bubble behind. It still feels heavy. It still feels weird. It's doing stuff over there. And we're going to take a nice deep breath now. We're going to go into our desired reality. We're going to switch this up. This thing that we really, truly want. Maybe it's a healthy relationship. Maybe it's just to be free. Maybe it's just to be honored. Maybe it's just to be respected. Maybe it's all these things. What is your true choice for today? The one that you really want to make, the one that you really, really want. That's right. And as you're really, truly desiring this, really, really, really wanting this, I want you to notice a couple things that might not be so wonderful about it. Right? We really want this business. We really, really do. We want all this extra money. We want to travel. We want to do all sorts of stuff. Or maybe it's too hard with, pandemic, or maybe it's going to be stressful having to have an online business. Maybe what if the internet fails, or what if we made all this money and then we, started doing things and then we couldn't keep up with them? Maybe there's a little fear of success there. Maybe in a relationship, it wouldn't be so great. Maybe he's going to be a pain in the butt, or maybe we jumped into one too quick that Now we're just back to being lonely again, and now we're stuck in a relationship. I just want you to go in and feel that. Again, we're not creating this reality at all. We're just going to go back and forth with these. And I want you to hold that in your other hand. And I just want you to notice how it feels. There's positive and there's negative. It shouldn't feel huge either way. I just want you to really feel that. And now we're going to go back into that, into that other bubble, that other side. I just want you to go in and look at that right now. And I want you to look at how it feels. Is it a little bit smaller? That's awesome. I want you to just feel back and forth. We're going to go back into that true end desire, the one that makes us smile. And we're going to ask the superconscious to just go in and tag all of those memories that need to be tagged moving forward. And I want you to just be holding those bubbles in your hands. And we're just going to hold them out in front of us. And I'm just going to start with a little bit of a recode. And I just want you to go back and forth with me. And as we do, those hands, I feel they're already being drawn closer together. And superconscious, I just want you to go into any of these beliefs surrounding both of these decisions. And I want you to tag and treat what's necessary to just move forward with the least amount of pain and the most amount of satisfaction. Any of those old beliefs, we're just going to pull up those old ones, those ones that make us feel bound like we're in handcuffs, those ones that we feel like we're never going to move forward, those ones that don't believe we're capable, that it just has to be, it has to be done now. We're just going to go with all these beliefs. It's not happening now. It's never going to happen. We're just going to let all those go, get all of those into the treatment plan. And I'm going to just ask that all part personalities come on board right now too. There we go. Just treating all those part-time personalities, all those ones that sort of get us to where we're stuck, those parts of us that just feel like we just can't go forward. We're just going to tag and treat all of those. I'm just doing massive change history on all of that. Thank you. And I'm just going to ask superconscious that we just bring up any emotions aligned with these desires as well. Just taking off the resistance, taking off the need to not have it happen, the need to have it happen, just allowing, just being okay. Treating all those emotions, just allowing them, allowing the babies to cry, just noticing when we're focusing on those things that we really don't want. And just tagging and treating all those emotions, all that grief, all that forgiveness, all that sadness, just all that not believing in ourselves, just treating all of those. And doing a massive change history on everything that's needed. And I'm just going to ask you to go back now. We're looking at our bubbles. My hands were already together. I don't know about you guys. Why don't you just notice if your hands happen to be feeling like they're just moving together, or if they're happen to just being drawn apart still. We're just going to work on that until those hands start to move together. And again, we're going to just bring on any parts that might have awakened as we're just coming through this. So many inner child, so many states of not being allowed. Super conscious, just please treat the emotion of not being allowed to do it, not you can't. No, we're just going to tag and treat all of those in the perfect treatment order and do a massive change history on those. I'm super conscious. I'm going to ask, we just bring all of those beliefs, all of those tagged memories that keep floating up in our bubbles that are just keeping us from really propelling, keeping us focused on the things we don't want. We're just going to do a massive recode on all of that. And we're going to go into some of those family entanglements. That's what we were stuck on there. And super conscious, we're going to go back generations and generations on both sides, just treating all of those things that we're carrying right now and just allowing what needs to be released and put down like a really heavy bag. It just years of generations carrying this bag. It's just time to put it down. We're just going to let it go. We're going to succeed. We're going to create generational healing, but these bags are just so heavy. We're just going to put them all down. I want you to take a nice deep breath for me. And super conscious, just please treat all of these family entanglements and do a massive change history. We're going to look at that beam that's floating above our head again, and we're just going to allow this to really turn up a little bit. We're going to allow some of those sparkles to come down as we just kind of look at both of our bubbles. And I want those sparkles to just kind of start filling you as you finish just tagging and thinking about all of those last few things that would be okay and wouldn't be okay. And I just want you to notice that your hands are, even if they're not ready to come together, maybe ask super conscious if they're ready to work together. And I want you to experience them both at the same time. I want you to really try and feel both. The thing that you desire and the thing that you don't desire. And I want you to ask yourself how that really feels right now. How does it feel? Can you feel some positives? Can you feel some negatives? The thing is it's always there. Those things are always there. We can always choose them if that's what we want. And we see how easily we can choose them. But we need to make sure that we don't want something because of a secondary intention. So super conscious, please treat all these secondary intentions. Just equally desire spending time with the family, equally desire having money, not having money. just equally desiring that and doing a massive change history on that. And now that you're there, we're going to keep our eyes closed and we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually choose the reality that we really want. But we're going to choose it from a place where we know we could have the opposite anytime we want. We're just going to choose from a place where you know it really wouldn't matter. You're not trying to get away from something. You just decide that that's the steak and the other is the chicken. And the chicken's always there, but tonight you feel like steak, and I want you to just choose it. And as you do, I want you to slowly bring your hands to your heart together. And I want you to just place your hands on your heart. And I want you to just take a nice deep breath. And I want you to just say to yourself, I choose this. I choose the end result of true financial abundance. I choose the end result of following my joy to completely being abundance. Not just sometimes, just being. If that's the choice, you might choose the chicken. But I want you to really make that choice right now for you, just for you, because you love it, because it makes you happy, because it makes your heart sing, because it's being in the mountains. It's looking out and seeing the most breathtaking sight every nanosecond that you turn your head. And just feeling that feeling of being on that mountain's edge and just almost being ready to cry. It's so flippin' beautiful. And I want you to be sitting in your little treatment center with your saunas and hot tubs and all sorts of stuff around you, your quantum energizing hyperbaric chair, anything you want, you've got it all there. I want you to just go there and feel that. And I want you to make that decision. What's it going to look like a few months from now? What's it going to look like? You know, what are you going to look like? What about a year making this choice, really making this choice? Super conscious, I'm just going to ask that you do any further treatment on anything that's needed. And take those sparkles and just move through all those energy centers just one more time, just clearing anything out, balancing the adrenals, balancing all those hormones, just balancing our whole system out, allowing toxins to flow and cells to flush, and just allowing, just making that choice because you know you really love it. And we're just going to ground all that back into the matrix of the universe. And when you're ready, if you feel the need to ask yourself anything right now, you're so tuned in, you guys are so strong. You can even ask yourself, what's that next little thing I need to do to really move forward? I've made this choice. What action do I need to take to really move this choice forward? To really enjoy my steak? Do I need the bread with it, or is it the mushrooms? What do you need to do? Maybe it's take a picture and put it on Instagram, then you'll really enjoy your meal. What do we need to do? Whenever you're ready, you guys are welcome to just come back to me. Wiggle a toe. Oh, when I took my last nice deep breath, my back just cracked. It felt amazing. Thank you guys for playing with me. Hopefully you were able to get into a quiet space where you could communicate with superconscious a little bit here. So I am going to end the recording just so that I can pick your guys' brains and just chat a little bit so I don't record too long. So thank you everybody in replay land. And I will see you in the next Friday webinar. Thank you so much for coming.